thank you for joining us, everyone. I feel like we have a packed crowd. I'll just wait for a few people to sort out their audio, make sure we all know that we can hear. Amazing! I can see lots of faces that look like they can hear us. That's great news. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We are here to explore a question that I think is important in the industry right now, and that is what event coordinators actually want from agency partners. Um, we believe this is an amazing industry. We all are very passionate about this industry and about organising events. And we want it to succeed the goal it's trying to achieve, which is amazing events. And so often, the event agencies misunderstand what event organisers really want. So we want to explore that in an honest conversation. We've not just got event agencies here. In fact, we have none. I do run an event agency called Clownfish Events. My name is Jonny Coekin, and I'm hosting this panel. But you're not here to hear my voice. You're here to hear from three amazing experts in organising events. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. I'm really excited about this because these are the voices that really matter in this conversation. People who have lived the event coordinator's life and worked with top agencies and a number of agencies to try and deliver extraordinary events for clients and for their teams. So why don't we go in order and introduce ourselves and maybe say something about the types of events we run and why it's relevant to these people here, because I want everyone here to understand the voices you're hearing from. So, Rebecca, go for it.
Yeah. Hi guys. I'm Becca. I work as an events manager at Sage. I've been at Sage in-house for nearly 9 years now. And I've worked in a couple of different roles across a variety of events, ranging from everything from UKI roadshows, moving events around the country, large-scale trade shows, so things like you see here today, working on conferences with partners, incentives in European destinations. So quite a sort of breadth of experience, both in the UK and internationally as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Emma.
Hello, everyone. My name's Emily. I work at Octopus Energy. I've been here for about 5 years, and my role is to do with employee engagement. So, Octopus is known for looking after our customers, and we love that. But who looks after our customers? It's our team. So, there's a massive link between looking after our employees to looking after our customers. And so, that's my role. I also look after a lot of teams who are remote, so our field engineers who are out in customers' homes. So getting that connection to the amazing Octopus culture, the brand, the mission is so crucial, and they probably don't feel that when they're in their vans when it's been raining every single day so far this year.
Yeah.
And so that's where I come in. We've actually got 8 events to connect our amazing engineers across the whole of the country to the brand, to the mission, and to what we're trying to achieve to get that big green dent.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And Lauren.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren Faraday. I am the Director of Sales at 60 Great Queen Street, working on behalf of Smart Group. I've worked there for 11 years across all sorts of different events, but mostly relevant at 60 Great Queen Street. We do everything from large-scale conferences up to sort of 900 people, to fashion shows, to brand experiences, to premieres. I've seen it all and worked with many, many different agencies. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to give you some valuable insight.
Amazing. So I'm excited I'm actually even more excited having heard those intros. I feel as though this is perfect for us in the audience because we have two experienced event organisers and Lauren, who brings a very unique insight as a leading London venue, connecting event buyers with event agencies. So has a very interesting insight for us into how agencies can become partners and remain partners with end clients. Now, I want this to be a conversation. I want this to be honest. I want us to actually uncover some truths that we didn't understand about this relationship between event organizer and event agency. By show of hands, can I ask who in the audience is an event organizer? Okay, amazing. And who here is event agency? Oh, What a brilliant split. Okay, we have half and half. In that case, we're going to speak to both of you. We thought we might tailor it slightly, but no, we're going to speak to both of you, and that's perfect. That's how we wanted this to land. I'm going to take us through about half an hour. It will fly by. We don't have very long. And then the plan is to stop for some questions. However, if you have a burning question or you feel like something we've said has agitated you, I want you to stick your hand up. I want to challenge this panel. And I want our thoughts to be challenged by you. And so if you do feel you really want to say something, stick your hand up, and the amazing AV team will make that work. So, should we get started? Amazing. All right. I want us to start at the moment that matters for lots of event agencies, and that is when an event organizer like Sage or like Octopus Energy, these brands that we all want to work with, choose an agency to work with. We are all desperate to work with you. These guys know that. Funnily enough, they're also looking for an event agency. So why don't we start with a question? How do you guys, and Lauren, please do chip in here if you feel you can add something. How do you guys choose an event agency, or how do you start?
I'll keep us up then.
Go for it, Rebecca.
So Sage, for those of you who don't know, we are the UK's biggest tech company. So Sage is a beast of an organisation. It's 11,000 people. So just selecting an agency isn't that simple for us. We have a whole process to go through. We have a procurement team that assist us in finding the right agency partner. We have what we call an RFP process where we will select a couple of agencies. There might be agencies that are already on our books that we already work with, or new agencies, people that we've seen around and about at events like this.
Yeah. I just felt a collective groan when you said RFP. I think everyone in the crowd... request for proposal is the bane of all agencies' lives. We are all currently sat here listening as thinking, oh, that sounds hard to get into, and it sounds like bureaucracy. Is it that?
A little bit, yeah, I won't lie. It is a little bit hard, but we have a really skilled and very knowledgeable procurement team. So when we enter into this process with agencies, they are there to assist. They're not a blocker. They are there to answer questions. You can, raise queries. Yes, there's a process and there's a way that we do that, but having that process in place and that structure makes it really, really fair. So yes, there are 3 agencies, maybe there's 5 agencies in the pot, but you're all getting a fair shot. You're all getting the same questions. You're all getting the same time frame. You're all sometimes getting a framework or a budget template that we're asking you to fill in for your costs. So yes, it is slightly harder. It's probably much, much longer than anything that Emily's doing. It is it is a fair process, and that's what it's there for.
Amazing. Okay, do we all understand Sage's procurement process of finding a new agency? Amazing. Let's hear from a very different style of finding an agency. Emily, take it away.
The chaos that ensues. So we're a bit allergic to processes and having that kind of rigid structure, even though it sounds really fair and probably quite calm, actually. I don't have that. So the way that I find great people to work with comes from word of mouth, from recommendation, and from networking. To be honest, I love it. I think that it's, for me, as somebody that wants to feel connected to people, that's something that I really value. And I think that there's a really great opportunity here and the space that I didn't realize was something that I could explore probably, 3 or 4 years ago when I first started entering into organizing these big events, is building the network of like people that you can trust and people that you can go, I'm really trying to figure out how to build this connection, or actually it's a bunch of people that haven't worked before and they're a different demographic than what I've done, or whatever it is. How do you connect to that? And what's really worked well for you? And then also being able to share that experience. I also like to think quite outside the box. I don't actually like to do the same thing at every event. I want every experience to be like, what is an Emily event going to feel like? Because that keeps people interested. It makes it fun. So for me, it's building a connection, having a team that I can really trust, because we don't have all of that protection that comes with being really process driven. So actually I need to have a really strong connection to someone to be like, yeah, this is chaotic, but like, can we explore the chaos together?
Amazing. Okay, so do we see how those are different? One is more event organizer led. One is more process led. Both are trying to get a great agency at the end of the day for their events. Can I just ask, would either of you ever consider having more than one agency?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we
Okay.
have more
How
than
many?
one agency. At the moment, we've got like two general events sort of agencies. We've got an agency that does stand builds. We've got 2 or 3 of those on our books. So we've got a range of agencies with different skill set. And we reach out to them for different things. And not only myself and the events team, but other parts of the business also tap into that. So there's other business coming from other areas as well.
Okay, amazing. And Emily, one or many?
Only a couple. I'm quite open, but I think, yeah, I know that I'm quite a loyal person. So as you'll know from Clownfish, all of the 8 events that we're doing, that is a trusted experience. I know that each of those 8 are going to feel the same. And the relationship I have with Alistair, that is like, I will send him a voice note being like, this is where I'm at. What's your thoughts on it? So I am open to it, but I also like, if I have a really great experience, then I'm not I don't want an open relationship. I want to find those people that I can trust.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Monogamy.
Yeah, exactly. I want to commit.
Committed relationship. It's partnership, isn't it? And we are looking for partnership. I think that word is key here. Lots of event partners, event agents, event suppliers are looking to become more than just a supplier to a company. You want to become an extension of their team, a partner within their team, someone that they trust as an extension of their team. And we're going to touch later on what makes some event agencies become partners and some not. We're going to do some red flags and some green flags later, which should be fun. I want to touch on something that I think lots of us will be asking, which is the price question. How much does price matter? Both in choosing an agency, but also in projects, in quotes that we look at. And I'm going to refer to Lauren here because Lauren is, like I said, the intermediary between event agencies and the event buyer. Lauren is head of sales at a top London venue where lots of agencies want to work with her clients, the clients that come to them. And so, Laura, in your experience, how much, within reason, does price matter to the clients that are looking to book your venue?
So it's a really interesting one because I think a couple of years ago we would have been saying something very different. Price was the most important thing. Budgets were the most important thing. I honestly think now, if it's an expensive quote, but it has context and the things that are in there actually make sense to the event organizer and the client, I think budget doesn't necessarily matter. There has been many, many times where we've received a brief from a client and there's been multiple agencies pitching for it, that the most expensive agency has won because what they've done, rather than just putting forward a really wow proposal, they have pretty much partnered with us as the venue to build their deck. So I honestly think that if an agency is going to pitch a venue, they need to be bringing in that venue into that pitch process. And at the end of the day, if you're dealing with a venue, they should be the experts on the space. They should be able to say to you, these are the floor plans, this is exactly what's going to work. And it's that time and effort that people are putting in that will win them that deck, not whether they're the cheapest or not.
Okay, fascinating. Emily or Becca, do you have anything to add there on the importance of price? We'll touch on what really matters later, but for now, as you both clearly have to manage budgets, neither of you have an unlimited budget. You both run big organizations that care about their budgets, particularly Emily being an energy supplier. You have to be really conscious of budgets.
Absolutely.
And making sure it's spent wisely. However, I happen to know that you work with an agency, Clownfish Events, who are not the cheapest. And I know that because I run the company. And so I want to ask, how much does budget matter to both of you?
I'll start. For me, taking the team out for a day and sometimes for an overnight stay in the travel and everything like that, we are taking them away from our beloved customers who we are obsessed with. And so to do that, it has got to be worth it. It cannot be lackluster. It cannot flop. It is a massive investment into our team. That's why our retention is so good, right? They feel connected to us and they feel that they are valuable. And so, yeah, I'll say this is kind of what I'm working with, and no, this doesn't, this goes above what I feel comfortable with spending. And we'll have that really open and honest conversation. But if it is, this is how your team is going to feel, and this is what they're going to take away, and I just think it will take you to that next level. That is what, it's so much more expensive to, recruit and replace your team and everything like that. Like, there is a return of investment here that is more than just the budget, and that's why I think it's so flexible.
Amazing. Becca, anything to add here, or should we move on to what we're all really here for, is what agencies get wrong?
Give us the tea.
The juicy details and the horror stories. But Becca, anything to add on budgets?
Yeah, I think I just second what everybody else has said. Yes, price is important, but we're also very conscious of what we're doing and the experiences that we are creating and the way we're showing up to our customers, our partners, our colleagues. So yes, it's important, but it's not the be all and end all.
Something matters more than budget. And I mean, who would have thought something matters more than money when it comes to planning an event? And we'll come to that later. But first, what do event agencies get wrong? Because event agencies in the room, half of you are event agencies. You are trying to win clients like Sage and like Octopus. What are you getting wrong? What is it that makes some partners fall short, and eventually we'll get to what makes some absolutely right? Do any of us have any horror stories in our time of agencies or suppliers who have let us down and then no longer been agencies of ours, not gone on to become partners?
Yes. I could take that on. Yeah. It was here. We were at Excel.
Okay.
Yes, we had an agency who we still work with today, a very trusted agency who helped us to create a stand build at our biggest we're doing accountants events, our biggest events, it's trade show events. They subcontracted out to a stand build agency, which we didn't have a great partnership relationship with. We kind of trusted our agency to provide us with what we needed, which was obviously a mistake.
I'm sweating already. Who else is sweating already? I feel nervous.
We go to Excel. We had a huge stand. Our stand is like 300 square meters. It's massive. So we have this huge stand. We have all of our senior leadership there. We have a huge number of colleagues. And basically, the guys doing the stand build just didn't get it right. We walked in, was second day of build, and we've still got rigging on the floor. Like, everything was everywhere. It was total chaos. They had just not delivered. They were not where we expected them to be. I think they just completely overstretched themselves. There was no warning that this was the case. There was no warning of what we were going to walk into. I walked in with our marketing director. It was not a happy place to be at that time for the agency.
Okay, and you will have reviewed that lots. Where do you think it went wrong?
I think
Because by that point it was too late, which is, of course, every event organizer's here worst nightmare, arriving and spotting an issue when it's too late. What went wrong? Obviously, you didn't have the relationship with Stand Builder, but how could that Stand Builder have got it right?
I think we're a big company. I think we asked a lot. We went into this with a big budget and big ideas and big plans, and the agency that took it on just couldn't cope. They were overstretched. They were understaffed. They just didn't really get the level of sort of detail that we were after, and it all just caved in. And with that, I remember being in the office of the agency that we contract with, like the week before, in the stand builder, and just talking through it, and nobody ever flagged that we need more money because we haven't got enough crew, or we're worried about the time, the schedule. Nobody said anything. It was all this other one probably already sort of promised you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, the event agencies in the room, or the suppliers in the room, are going to feel some defensiveness here, aren't you? I mean, you're going to be thinking, some sympathy for this stand builder. They would, they didn't tell you, Becca, that they couldn't get it wrong because they wanted to please you. They wanted you to have an amazing event, so they didn't want to upset you over email 2 weeks before and say that they were out of budget and couldn't find the team to set up on time. And so a breakdown of communication is what occurred. And we'll come to how event agencies can get that right later. But I think it's a theme that we're picking up here is that communication really matters. It's how we avoid mistakes as event organizers, and it's how agencies can avoid mistakes too in becoming partners. Because communicating a mistake early is the only way you can fix it. Emily?
I luckily don't have anything like that. I'm just like, how did you fix it? So I've been very fortunate. I think there's always a couple of snags, but that we've kind of had to overcome. But I think the one is when it's an event that you care so deeply about, whether it's your senior leaders or it's a group of people that you really want them to feel that love. And mine was the only one I can really think of. And it's so minor in comparison to that. Thank God. Which was just, we'd expected there to be this kind of like quite a slightly more bougie experience for our leaders. We'd had a lot of change. And so we wanted our leaders to feel valued. We wanted them to feel like, yes, this has been an intense 6 months. Yeah, but like we're here and like this is the vision, like let's go for it. And that really did come to light. But there was a couple of small things that I really wanted to kind of add those nice touches. And actually, by the time we got there, the supplier that I was working with that was supposed to put these packs together was like, oh, we've actually run out of this, and this. So half of your team will have this kind of box, this kind of takeaway, and the other will have this. And we're just like, we were so close. Like,
Yeah.
I just need...
And also that thing mattered to you.
It really did.
It could have been that thing really didn't matter to you. Sometimes as event organizers, we see things and we go, okay, the bin has changed color. And someone says it to us really sensitively and says, I'm really sorry, the bin's changed color. We say, oh, doesn't matter. It's absolutely fine. Doesn't matter to me. But when something's changed that matters to you and it wasn't communicated, it's a shame, and it puts a sour note on the whole thing for us. Okay, before we move on to how we can get this right, Lauren, you're obviously going to have seen more mistakes than any of us combined, being that throughput of lots of events happening at your venue regularly.
Yeah.
Give us a common theme.
That's what I was literally just about to say. So I often find agencies really rush to accept a brief without fully understanding every single part of it. People are so, I don't want to use the word desperate because that's not fair, but people are so desperate to work with large corporations like yourself that they will accept any inquiry, any brief that comes through, and they might not necessarily be the right people to deliver it. The amount of inquiries we get at our venue where I'm like, this isn't going to work at our venue, guys. Like, why are you inquiring at our venue? Like, that's because they've rushed to accept it. They're not experts on every single venue. That's the common theme where people just take it all, and I'm like, you don't have to accept everything, surely.
Yeah, honesty goes a long way when it comes to accepting our ability to take on the task, because we're dealing with big tasks here. All right. What does turn projects into partnerships? How do agencies become the partner status that we all want to be for event organizers like yourselves? I know the answer because I've spoken to these guys, and or at least I feel confident it's going to be one word. But just by show of hand, who thinks it's how well your website is designed? Thank you. I'm not going to treat you all like children anymore. It's trust.
Yeah.
It's trust. It's one key word. It is how much can you make these people trust you? That's not a simple how, but it is a very simple answer. It is simply that you need to build massive trust, and nothing else really matters. We've already said that budget doesn't matter most. Money is not the most important thing. Despite it being the first thing in all of our heads, when we come to book, it's not the most important thing. If someone can evoke trust that's beyond the burden of that budget, you will stretch it. You all will at the right time. And so I think that matters. Let's talk about some green flags. What is it specifically that someone who wants you to become a partner, or sorry, someone who becomes a partner of yours, someone who you do trust, what is it they do right? What is it that they nail that makes you go, yes, that's right, I'm going to carry on working with it? Because as event agencies, it can feel random. It can feel like, I don't know why they booked again. I have absolutely no clue. For some reason, they'd come back. Amazing. No idea why. Why is it?
For me, it is that actual partnership. Like, I think that I care so deeply about the events that we run and making that connection. Like, it is emotional. Like, it's supposed to have an emotive response. And actually, sometimes that means that things get a bit chaotic or things get a bit messy. Or last minute, you're like, actually, I'm just going to chuck this extra thing in here because I forgot about that person and they should be here. And the relationships that I have with my trusted people, that is when I go, hey, I need you to help me here. Like, help me make this amazing.
And how?
Yeah.
How do they do that to you?
So they do it by showing up for me. They do it by communicating really clearly. What do you need? I don't want anyone to bullshit me because that's not going to be what makes this amazing. Talk to me about what you need and what I've maybe forgotten.
Ask you questions. That's how they're going to know.
And also, like, pick up the balls that I've dropped.
Exactly.
I've picked up something else, mate. Like, that's way gone. That's not even on my list anymore.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, it's fine. I've picked this up for you and it's done. Like that, being somebody for me that shows up for me and almost like carries that weight.
Splitting the gaps.
Yeah, sure. It's a communication piece.
Communication, and does that mean answering to emails within 30 seconds?
No. I'll just WhatsApp you.
I mean, that's noteworthy. I mean, it is interesting, isn't it? I mean, I know that you do communicate with our team by WhatsApp, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Why is that? Did
Emails.
Alistair start WhatsApping you and then you just thought, okay, I'll roll with this?
No, I mean, no. I don't know who started it, but I will have said, email for me, it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't, at Octopus, we don't communicate. If something comes through an email, I'm like, you better have slacked me as well because I'm not checking it. Like, I honestly, the culture at Octopus is fantastic, but it's so fast paced. Email isn't it. And so I would have said to Alistair, like, mate, I just want to WhatsApp you, or can you WhatsApp me because I'm not checking my emails as quickly as you need from me as well. Like, I totally get that you need answers from me just as quickly as I want them from you. And so it's that mutual respect and understanding of like, my communication preference is this. Does that work for you? Like, or is that a boundary? Like, if it's a boundary, that's fine, but
They're not the right agency. It's not the boundary.
That's why I leave coming back because I sent Alistair a voice note and he's messaging me back. So yeah.
The answer is not WhatsApp. It's not always going to be WhatsApp to every one of your clients, and I can see by the nods in the room, lots of you do not want to be contacted by WhatsApp. Do not WhatsApp me, please. I'm at home, and so but the key is that Alistair found that out. He found out that you wanted to be on WhatsApp and then rolled with it, and it's that trust building and that
Question asking.
asking questions.
Yeah.
That's right. How do you want to be contacted? Completely. So asking questions is important. Becca, anything here? What do event agencies need to do to become partners at Sage? A step-by-step guide would be great. So let's see. Right out.
For us, probably transparency. So, just be open and honest. Like, we are humans. We are event organizers. We understand that not everything is going to go well all of the time, or not everything is going to run to budget. But, we can work with that. If you talk to us, we have a great partnership with our agency. They are open, they are honest, they are transparent with what they do. And that's part of the reason we trust them so much and we keep going back and we keep giving them more and more work, is because, if there is an issue, they bring it up, they raise it together. Sometimes they come with a solution, other times they don't. Other times it's a budget problem and we go, right, okay, I'll go off and I'll find that extra money or whatever it is that needs to be done. And then we work in partnership to solve that because we want to create the best experience for our attendees. And, it's important that they also want that too. And we're helping each other and working together. So that's a big one for us.
I think it's as well like omitting those grey areas. Like, there's always going to be grey areas in an event, like asking about budget problems. If they're limiting their budget, that's when people start to overpromise because they're too scared to say to you, you've run out of money, when actually you just need to, those grey areas, just there needs to be very minimal or none by the event day. They just need to ask questions, make sure everyone's very clear, whether even if that's doing weekly calls in the run up to an event, it's super important.
Amazing. So we've covered some errors that agencies can make in becoming partners. For 3 partners who all find agencies in very different ways, they all want the same thing, which is a trusting relationship with someone trying to deliver something very complex, and they want them to communicate with honesty. They want you to tell them when you messed up,
Yeah.
and they want you to tell them when things are going right, but ultimately they want you to communicate really well. Before we get to final pieces of advice and start to do some, I don't know, quick fire green flags and red flags with agencies, I want to open up to the floor for questions. For those of you who have joined more recently, we're here to have an honest discussion about what event coordinators want from agencies. Give us your most challenging questions. Please, microphone team.
Hello, I'm Lizzie. I'm from Oddity Events. I'm a founder and director. My agency is nearly 8 years old and I have 6 employees completely self-funded. So I'm really proud about that.
Congrats.
One of the things that I felt to my bones was when you were talking about agencies overstretching themselves. But sometimes we need to stretch to be able to grow.
Yeah.
And that's what we've had to do. But there's been so many nightmarish issues that we've had to solve. But what I want to know from you guys is how much of it is a risk to employ a smaller agency, and is it attractive to you in some ways, or would you prefer to go for the big ones who sometimes push us out the water?
Amazing question. Thank you so much, Lizzie. Just for anyone who might not have picked it up, we're asking whether you would consider a smaller player in the industry who might challenge some of the bigger agencies to be your partner. Would you give them a chance? Because we're talking about we've already established important events, big budgets. Are you going to risk that on Lizzie?
Yes. So yes, the answer from me and the teams that I work with, I actually prefer it. You know, I work with Miss London Concierge for venue finding and Clownfish for everything else, whether it's like AV or building or anything like that. And actually, both of those businesses are small teams or growing teams. Because actually, I'm needy, right? I am. Yeah, I want to feel connected. I don't want to talk to a different person every time or feel like I'm in the seat either. Because I think of my communication style and the relationship that I want. As long as that communication of where those boundaries are and what is out of the scope or what the solution is, it doesn't feel like a massive risk for me. It might be that we do a slightly lower risk event first and feel it out. But I actually think that the big ones would scare me more, actually.
Interesting. And Becca, at Sage, obviously there is this this procurement process in place. Can the small players, should they even bother? Should they even bother being one of those 5 agencies that your board is trying to choose between?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it does kind of depend on the event that we're running. So, if it's a UK-based event, something, that's not going across the 2 sides of business, then yes, like absolutely, a bit like Emily, like we want to build a connection as well. We want to have trusted suppliers. So yes, we want to do that and we want to build that connection. And we do spread our work around as well. For us, it helps limit that risk as well. We know if we've got a big agency who are working on something, one of our big Sage Future conferences, but that's great for them. But we've got a whole host of other stuff going on under here that we still need to concentrate on. And sometimes, we do need a smaller player there to help us. And also just the flexibility that allows us as well. We are it is incredibly difficult for us to get things done in our organisation sometimes because it is so big, and sometimes we need those small agencies with flexibility to help us do that.
Creativity more than one.
Exactly. Big agencies, we're working off timesheets and things. It's hard work.
Hard work. Look, I love it. Every industry needs challenger brands. Every industry needs small businesses to challenge the big ones. Know your worth. You are valuable to event organizers, and yes, you absolutely can become their partners. It's actually an easier place to build trust from, in my experience, than it is from the top of the pedestal. We had a question at the back there.
Thank you. It's Jed Shackley from UKSV Creates,
Hi there.
an agency. Hi. Just want to ask the team a bit more about the communication piece around how we build that trust in the right manner. You mentioned WhatsApp, but clearly that's the sticking part. So we work with our clients over a period of time, you build that relationship. Any thoughts on opening that door, that initial door where, because we know how busy you are, and me asking to have a 10-minute conversation might be too much.
Can I just clarify here, because I want to frame the question to the team well. Do you mean at the point of they don't know you? So is this a cold reach out?
Yeah, this is that cold reach out, that building that initial piece, and actually you having enough time to spend on it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. How big is the unread inbox in your LinkedIn, all of you? Is the question. Basically, how do event agencies reach out to you? How do you start to and don't worry, everyone here is not going to ping you a LinkedIn message. Oh, well, they might do if you say it out loud. Yes, you could feel your phone pinging off. How would you like that communication to start? Because yes, it can evolve and develop, and I think the point earlier was it should flow based on their needs, and it should be asked, how would you like to communicate? But from an onboarding point of view, from an introduction, how do you want to be contacted? Because we can't believe you exist. You're actually here on stage. How do people get in touch with you? How would you like them to?
LinkedIn is not it for me. It's a bit of it's just too salesy. Yeah, and it doesn't feel genuine. It feels like a numbers game, which it might be, and I understand why. Honestly, the amount of this is relating back to dating is a surprise for myself. But that's kind of what it feels like. I think the teams that I've connected with and how I'd like to be reached out, annoyingly, and I realize this is an annoying answer, is almost like for that warm introduction, for meeting in person. It's that, something like this I think is incredible, and having that, that in-person, organic conversation. What do you actually do? What do you want to do? What would you like to do together? Inspire me. I want to be inspired.
Maybe from a venue that you've worked at or something like that. If, for example, we've got a really good relationship with an agency that I know would connect with you really nicely. That would be a really nice way to do that. So I think for agencies, almost be nice to everybody. Make sure that your communication style is the same no matter who it is, because we've met now and we have a relationship. I from knowing, just even meeting you over the last couple of days, I know kind of the agencies in my mind that would work really nicely with you, and you'd probably be more welcome to getting a recommendation from me now. Than just reaching out on LinkedIn, like you say.
Yeah. I cannot stress that enough. Yeah, when I go to venues, and I go to see a lot of venues, to just check them out, see if that space is there, and if the person there is going, what we did here was this, and oh yeah, you should meet Matt. Exactly, he can really sort you out. That is how I want to feel connected to somebody.
Great. For taking time, I might move on unless you have anything burning, Becca. No, great. Let's go over here.
Hi, lovely talk. Just to quickly pick up on that, I'm Joe. I run a company called Planet Live. We're an award-winning agency in Manchester. It took me 15 months to win an account, and then a venue introduced a new agency or tried to introduce a new agency. And when I say that was heartbreaking, I haven't lost them. I've retained. We're fantastic. But or just to play that back from an agency, we're sat here, and my question would be trust is amazing. You've got a wonderful partnership with Clownfish. For us as an agency, trying to get into a client who actually might have an amazing partnership, amazing trust, doesn't want to leave them. So then you're like, oh my God, it's like a miracle to find a client at the time who is looking for a new agent, who you vibe with, connect, and can WhatsApp like forever. But you're like, it's so hard for an agent, like really, like we're here, like Lizzie as well, it's so hard. So for me, what makes you, two parts to the question after my monologue, what makes you, one, start to think, I want a new agent, I want to explore a new agent, and then how do you actually action that? I know RFPs don't do that, the rest of it, but like, how do you do it beyond meeting in this environment?
I might jump in here. And answer this one because I think it is hard, and the question really is, how dare you? How could you do this to us? I thought we had something great going on. And I think the reality is, and I think all of the event organizers here in the crowd will agree, although it's hard and there's passion and energy and we've heard passion from lots of the agents who have spoken today. We've worked hard for this relationship to build. The fact of the matter is, the end result needs to be great events and great experiences for guests. And so it has to be the responsibility of the event coordinator to choose who they think is right. However much you feel you've worked hard for it and you deserve it, because I'm sure you do, by the way. But the truth is, I think this only works if there's a decision maker, and the decision maker can be swayed in a direction. Like from my point of view as an agency for Octopus, I want Emily to find the best agency for them. And if that's not Clownfish, I have to be humble enough to go, that's all right. I really want what Emily wants, which is the right partner for her and her guests. And I think from that position, we end up being a more helpful agency anyway, if we can humble ourselves to the point of sharing their vision of an excellent experience for their guest above anything else, even how hard and how much money we've spent to acquire them as a customer. Is that fair? That I think you get to choose, and that's right.
Who would you ask though? Like if you didn't want to work with Clownfish, so who would you ask?
So I would ask people that I have met and have a connection with in the industry. So whether that is the people that I've done events with before, so like M.I.C.E, who have introduced me into other agencies, like the host, like the total wipeout activities, like those things. That is something that the team there would say, have a think about this, or even if I'm thinking about something totally new and I just want to get another perspective, I do have loyalty, but it's not blind. And also, it's not pie. We're not going to run out of stuff. Like I'm always going to be doing events, and there's always going to be a need. And I want to support. I actually really want to support smaller companies so that they can be successful, and that is really important to me personally. And so it is just about having connections and seeing the vision. And on the flip side, I know that we're running out of time, but when I go to see venues or if I meet other agencies, and I had this just this year, I went to a venue the year before and I loved it. I could see it. I could see what I wanted to do and how this worked, but I had no reason to do it. But I had nothing. And so I was like, I'm obsessed with this. I really want to do it. I don't have anything right now. A year later, we did have a need, and I was like, I know where I want to go.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it is that, and like having that timing piece as well.
We're in it the long game.
It's long-term trust building, and it might be that to build trust right now, I need to say, Emily, I think the best thing for you and your guests is to go and work with that agency. I mean, it's ultimate. I mean, like, or to say, Emily, you haven't heard of Confex. Why don't you come along and walk around without me burdening you? Walk around and see every other agency here. If you find someone better, go for it. I'll challenge it, of course, but I want you to go for it because I want what's best for you. Long term, I think that's actual trust building, because it puts them and what they need first. Yeah. Any other burning questions? We've got time for one more. Go for it.
Hi guys, my name's Ryan Dennis.
Hi,
I'm
Ryan.
an event activation provider. I want to find out, how do you get involved in the conversation in regards to attendees' experience earlier on? Because what I'm finding is agencies will come to me and they'll have ideas, but there's bigger and better things to do. And I want to understand, okay, what's the decision making or the planning process like? How far in advance is that? And how can I get involved earlier to be involved in the conversation to add further insight and give greater depth for the experience of the attendees?
So if I understand your question correctly, you are classically a last minute addition to an event because people are building out the event, and then at the very end they think, okay, how can I make it fun? And that's a shame for you because you want the event to be built around the fun elements of the event.
Modernize it.
Yeah,
Refreshing.
very good. How can a supplier get in there early to help you think about other aspects of the event that you haven't already thought about?
Yeah, I think I would say it's not necessarily, maybe it's not about us, and maybe this is just about like an industry thing. So we have a new brand experience team at Sage who are leading on sort of what events looks like, what is their experience from start to finish for attendees. We're doing a trade show here in a couple of months, and we are thinking, right, okay, from this point they get off that tube down there at the front. What is that whole experience? How does it link together? How do we have our brand, Sage? How are we front of mind in every single attendee's experience? And that's come about because that's the way things are going within the event sector, and these new teams are popping up and things. That's not us thinking, how do we do it earlier? This is all come into play from something that I think was probably born out of like an idea in the US, and it's been passed through down through us. And these new brand experience teams, you might hear a lot more about, that you guys might be closer to than I am from an agency side. You might see these requests.
Exactly what I was going to say. So I would actually reach out to the production agencies because they're going to be the people who bring you in. I doubt you're going to be able to get in the forefront of these guys' minds because you're going to be relying on people like Clownfish, event concept wise. They're the people that are at our venue that would bring you in because they might not do it. Does that make any sort of sense, Jonny? Would you agree?
I completely agree. So Ryan, shout it from the rooftops. Everyone here needs to hear that we need to be focusing on customer experience before the alcohol budget. All right, please, for all of us here, shout that from the rooftops.
Yeah.
Also, get involved earlier in the process with the right partners, venues, other production partners, who can help enter you into the conversation earlier. All right, I'm speaking faster because I'm getting get off the stage actions. I have loved this. Thank you all. I hope you've all enjoyed this. We've tried to make this as honest as it can be. I feel as though we've uncovered some things that are hopefully interesting to you. Build long-term trust, however painful that might be. Communicate how they want to communicate by asking the right questions. And also, it's not all about budgets. The thing that matters most is trust. And hopefully the insights of these experts have filtered that. So thank you very much. And I don't know how to end it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.